Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the morning draw, man. It is June 14th, 2023. What's going on these charts, man? Charts, everybody. Man, it is 6:54 a.m. in the morning, a good bit ahead of when the market opens, and I'm just taking a look, man. Like, I know what I spoke about this week on Monday, at least some of the things that I thought we might get to see, um, at least what stood out to me. Looking at this daily chart once again, man, I just see so much liquidity that was left down low. So much. Not saying, people hear you say, you hear some liquidity left down low. He says we're going to be in a bearish. Well, I'm not saying anything other than the market left a lot of liquidity. Like, look at this daily gap. Look at this daily gap right inside of this price void. Look at this daily gap. Look at this daily gap. These lines right here, these two big white lines, dotted lines, they represent a weekly void as well. So, like, look at that. You get a daily gap, you get a daily gap, you get a daily gap. Everybody gets a daily fair value gap, and there's so much stuff left below. Um, I definitely expect the market at some point to come and get some of this. Now, I thought about naming this, at least, putting, as my headline. You know what I mean? I thought about putting as my thumbnail, if your bias, because at the end of the day, man, the market doesn't care about my bias, your bias, his bias, her bias, anybody's bias. The market is going to do what it's going to do, and to be honest, it really doesn't matter if you're wrong or if you're right. You definitely want to try to be on the right side of the market on which way the bias is leading you, but at the same time, you can have an idea that the market is going one way, and then the market can show itself to want to do something else, and then you change your game plan, and then you trade what you see and you react to what you're seeing happening as opposed to what you thought was going to happen. Don't see something different happening and then just you throw everything away, and because that's what I used to do. If the market didn't go exactly where I thought it was going to go or do what I wanted it to do for my trade, so you know what, F it, just forget it, just forget it, I'm done for the day. Or I would just revenge trade, or I would just try to just chase and then end up in a spiral situation. But just don't worry about it, because the market will at times say F your bias, and it doesn't matter if your bias ends up being 100% correct if you don't execute. So at the end of the day, you just do the best you can. You pick a bullish bias and a bearish bias as far as what the market could do for either side, and then you trade what you see. Even though, looking at this, I was saying coming into this, I saw that the market had a lot of things to finish up on the downside before it continued, just to come and get some of this, to rebalance some of this before it continues up. But right now we're steady pushing up. Will we continue going up? Let's take a look left. Let's make this chart a little smaller because we already discussed all that. Let's take a look left and see what we see. What do we see right here? Right here. Now this is on the continuous contract chart. I don't see this on my September chart. So I'm just looking at the continuous chart on trading view. What do we see right here? Let's mark that off for what that is, a daily fair value gap that it seems like we're in on the continuous chart. If that is true and it keeps going, it should be able to close that gap. That gap should be closed at 44.33 at that point. And some people would call this right here, these green candles right here, this one and this one, some people would call those order blocks because of the way that it sent the market down. See how from these candles right here sent the market down pretty quickly. You could say that it's getting back into a daily fair value gap as well as order block. I'm not an order block trader. You don't have to listen to me on if that's order block or not, because hey, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? If it 100% is, I don't really trade order blocks. It's not my forte per se, but we can see that we're still in that. Now, where could we possibly go as far as continuing to the upside? Once we finish this gap, it could seem like we finished for a second, and give it some some pullback action down to some of that liquidity that we discussed. But we could keep going. We can always mark different little highs that the market could keep pulling for. That's around 55.09. Today is FOMC. If you know anything about FOMC, you know the market can roll. So it would not surprise me if today we get just a little bit more of this action. Then come FOMC, we get some kind of downward action to at least close this so it's not a daily gap right here. So if we do come bearish, that could be 43.91 could be an area to look at. Another area to look at could be 43.82, 43.69. I don't really anticipate, when I see daily gaps this small, I don't anticipate the consequent encroachment being a factor right here. It's always something you need to look at, but I think it would get all the way through this gap. And then if we were to say if today was a rolling day, now the market hasn't been moving really more than it's been giving us. That's my alarm that normally goes off, that tells me in the summertime that it's time to get up. But I'm up early, man, so excuse that little quick interruption. But the market hasn't been trading more than 40 to 50 points on a really good day for the ES. That's what the range is, and it used to be like 80. It could be 80 points last year, but this particular year so far, man, we've been somewhere around 40, 50, maybe 60, and on those big news days, sometimes we'll get 100 every now and then, or maybe 80, but for the most part, in that 40 to 50 range. So coming all the way down here is a bit of a stretch. That would be 70 points if it came down just from where it is now and was to get all the way in here. But with FOMC, me personally, I'm anticipating us to go up some, and then for FOMC get us back down. So that particular area could be, like I said, 43.91. I'm gonna keep my eye on 43.81, 43.69. And if we just fall like an anvil on the coyote's head from the road runner, we could look to get down here in 43.41. But I don't think we're going to. I don't think we're going to travel that far. Now, if we continue up bullish, if we close that gap and continue to roll, then we could look to possibly get somewhere. I don't know if we're gonna get all the way up to 45.09. That to me is a bit of a stretch. Let's take a look. Let's drop down to some lower charts and see what we see. Let's see what's going on. Now we did hit this inside of this out gap, and then that pushed us up. That was yesterday. Like I said, I still see places for liquidity to the downside of the market. Now I tried to cover itself. Look at this. This gap is covered. That gap was revisited. This gap was revisited. This one wasn't. This one wasn't. This one almost had consequent encroachment. But it hit this gap, continued up, hit that one, continued up, and right now we're coming out of a 1 hour gap right here. But to me, it looks like we do have some things to the downside. Now, one thing that I saw that stuck out to me, I was taking a look at the NQ, and let's go to we're on the hour chart. So hold on, let me just jump over here. All right, so you see this little, let me pull this down. You see this chart down in here. This is the Dow, the YM up here. This is the NQ. I like to look at them for divergence to see what's going on. This is the hour chart. Let's take a look at what we see right here on the NQ. Now, one thing that this did make on the NQ, we did make some relative equal highs right here. And when was that? That was yesterday at 9 a.m. As you see, that particular high on the YM, that same one has not been touched. As far as it hasn't been violated, it's still the high. Made an equal high on the NQ. Now, when we were to come down for the ES, what do we see? What do we see on the hour chart for the ES? We took out the high from yesterday. That was made at 1300. We took out the high from yesterday, and we still have some equal highs on the NQ. So I am thinking that the NQ could take out its equal highs before we start to get um, some movement to the downside. So come FOMC, it's a lot of liquidity left just to be revisited and rebalanced to the bottom. But like I said, the market feels like F your bias. It doesn't care what I think. I do think at some point we could get some bearish momentum. So that's what I'll be looking at to see what happens if we just continue to roll. Then we continue to roll. The market could also just go to sleep until FOMC. We cannot have much going on. The market really has only moved. Let me see. Since we opened back up, the market really has only moved. I think we've only gone about 15 points. So let me see. That would be, let's just say 44.13 to the top of this is 44.28. That's 15 points. So we in consolidation right now, and the market could just play around, continue to consolidate until the real big move for FOMC, which is at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Either way, just a lot of people say, hey man, just watch, trade what you see, be safe out there. And that's just what I'm looking for today, what I'm coming into, what I'm looking for the market to possibly do. So hey man, I'm getting off. It is 7 a.m. I'm about to, man, I'm probably gonna go fix me and the chillin'. Yeah, me and the chillin'. Yeah, you know what I mean? The children, for those who would like to hear the very proper children. I'm gonna go fix me and the chillin'. I'll probably fix us some breakfast a little later. But right now, I'm just watching. It's 7:05. I don't trade typically during this time anyway. So I'm just chilling. Plus, I don't see anything to trade, but it would not shock me if we get some bearish momentum to come and rebalance today or maybe later this week. Alright, either way, man, I'm out. Y'all have a good one. June 14th, 2023, man. In the words of Jada Kiss Styles P, man, we gonna make it, man. Keep doing your thing. Yeah.